So, your story begins in the wonderful world of Galeria, on the continent of Avestan, in the region known as the Inner Sea. The year is 4719 AR, in the Age of Lost Omens. Your journeys, while each of them unique, has eventually led you all to the small and remote settlement of Squall's End, which is located in the middle of the mountainous reaches of eastern Ustalav in the blasted wastelands of Numeria. Squall's End was welcomed a comfort during this particularly harsh winter. This comfort, however, was short-lived, as the settlement soon found itself under attack by a tribe of nomadic raiders known as the White Claw, infamous for their cruelty. Fleeing carnage and their superior numbers, you and about a dozen others soon find yourselves to be the only survivors of Squall's End as you travel the winding mountain passes. The White Claw has pursued your group through these mountain passes. However, the winter storm soon becomes a blizzard, giving you quite the advantage in your escape for now. However, this blessing of the blizzard soon becomes a curse, as your travel is now slowed as you trudge through the ice and the high snow, the blistering cold wind stinging at your cheeks. The mountains serve as a reminder that if you don't find shelter soon, there might not be any survivor of Squall's End left. And this is where you come in, traveling through various carts, bits of horses tethered, pulling wagons packed with some of these survivors, and the meagering bits of supplies that were managed to be grabbed before they were burnt down to ash by the White Claw. You all are traveling alongside some of these bits of caravan, walking with some of the folk, those other survivors, one of which is an older human in his 40s. He's got kind of a medium pulled back black hair, just still thick on his head for his age. Has a matching black beard and is currently taking a puff out of a wooden pipe. And he dresses quite well for a common man, all in dark grays and blacks, with a big, thick, like bear skinned coat to help prevent some of the cold here. You all know this gentleman, have picked up his more proper name, Dragor. And Dragor, on top of his horse, pulls up by each of you in the blistering cold. I can't thank you enough for what you did for these folks. As promised, here, and he tosses you a sack. It's filled with some coin. That's what we have scrounged about. You'll find about 50 silvers in there. It's all we can manage to save and scrounge up. I hope that'd be enough, at least, for a paid, safe escort to someplace a bit safer in these weather conditions. And this is where you can describe your characters and converse with him, or stay silent in the blistering cold.
This is where it begins, bros.
His name is Dragor?
Dragor, but his nickname around the Squall's End used to be the Count.
I look around. He's talking to me and these other four people, right?
Correct.
The more capable souls in this group of people who are refugeeing and stuff.
Exactly. In fact, that's why you were offered the money, because you're obviously, during the conflict, the events that happened showed better skill than the average folk around here, and some of you are dressed and equipped far better than the average, commoner and even the local militia that the little settlement had. They don't have any official guard. It wasn't that large of a settlement. So you obviously stand out as people with skill, people who have been traveled, and your actions kind of show that you did have skill. And that's what he's buying is, hey, we appreciate what you've done and we'd like you to kind of help us a little further. This is all we could scrounge around from the people that are still alive. We appreciate everything you've done. Please stay with us a little longer until we can get safe. But here's compensation for your time.
I thank you. These white claw scum are a pain in everyone's tails, yes? Therefore I shall lead this caravan of refugees to the best of my ability through the snow, for I am familiar with such terrains. Thank you, Dragor.
And what does your character look like? Describe your
Well,
character.
assuming that in this winter, even though he is a winter catfolk, he would be. If it's a blizzard, he's probably been cloaked the whole time, so no one really probably knows what he looks like, other than his cloak protrudes out near the bottom, kind of weird because his tail's making it move around, and he's about 6'1". He's thin. He's a white with black stripes, tiger-looking guy.
So, just on a note, because you were not able to make the session 0 when we went over this, but everybody has at least seen everybody else, even though if you may not have been friends with everybody else, you've at least seen them about the settlement before the events that I just described. So they would know what you look like, but they may not have talked to you, or they may have. That's something y'all have the choice of going over.
All right, my bad. That's my fault.
No, it's all right. That's why we have discussions and things, and there's no wrong about it.
All right. Well, Teclan turns to the man. Don't thank us yet. If we don't find shelter in this blizzard, some shelter in this blizzard, we'll all end up dying anyway. Teclan is a tall, fair-skinned elf with long, heavy blue robes trimmed in silver, and despite the appear to be affected by the cold to any degree that you can see.
Tigress leans to him. I will not die, Teclan. Yes, I am winter catfolk. It's like mild annoyance to me, the cold here.
I agree. We need to find a way out of this blasted storm, or it'll be the end of us all. Look, Lucky! And as he kind of signals over, this little halfling, heavily cloaked in these little furs, comes stumbling through the snow. Yeah! What's going on? Lucky, I want you to go scout about. Maybe there's some caves around here, maybe some smaller homesteads, or who knows what, anything out of this blizzard. Lucky just kind of looks at the rest of you, and what does he see as he looks about the rest of you?
Well, Malphas is quite a figure. He is an orc with tiefling blood in him. His lower half is goat legs covered by pelts and furs that had been hunted, and he's wearing a dark breastplate with patterns all over it. And he has these jagged horns coming up randomly across his hairless head. He doesn't seem like he's in a bad mood, even when he's around town or around other people, but he always seems kind of anxious and a bit cagey, and he's always standing a bit uncomfortably close to Rvana. And he turns over to the guy and says, "Well, seems you'll get as much protecting as 10 silver will afford."
So right next to him is a red-haired human, a woman who's Sitting with tools, trying to fix up a cart. Bit scarred. Looks like she'd seen a bit of unfortunateness over the years. Quietly muttering to herself, "Oh, go on an adventure," they said. "It'll be fun," they said. Well, you know what? A gnome really liked a freaking burrow in the ground. One thing led to another. Now I'm gonna die in a blizzard. And next to her is a orange-haired humanoid, very lithe. But there's just something not quite human about them. And they haven't really spoken to anyone other than Rvana, because I don't think anybody here speaks Sylvan.
I actually do speak Sylvan.
Then you've heard her talk occasionally.
Yes. I speak 6 languages.
Oh, thank you for the hospitality. Sorry, I'm just a little cold out here. Just a little frozen. I like water, not snow.
So, I believe there is one other cloaked figure huddled in the cold.
All right, so we're all huddled in the cold, right? Introducing each other.
Yes, speaking to two of the individuals, two of the surviving individuals of the attack.
So, Aymri is, she'd be trying to keep her distance a little bit, huddled by the flames. Small dagger that she has. Occasionally scraping a little whetstone that she has against the blade before realizing that people are probably looking at her. And she looks over at them, pulling her hood back, showing the fin-like protrusions out of her head and the blue skin that she has in the small draconic features. Well, hi. You know, I've got to say, today's been a long day, long week, honestly. Name's Aymri Hatslet. It's wonderful to meet you all. If you need someone to stab something, well, she looks down at her dagger, looks around at the rest of the group. You know what? Actually, I think you guys have that handled.
And you hear Lucky just give out a little bit of a chuckle when you start saying your name. And
if you're wondering, my father was a...
No, I got it.
Vigil. You'd think that trying to fuck a dragon would not be on anyone's wanted list of things to do, but you know what? He did it. And she'll just give a small shrug.
Well, yes, you speak very fast and crassly as well. I will now attempt to find us some shelter in this storm for these refugees with my knowledge of the wilderness. If you'll excuse me. And then Tibrus gets up and goes to scout forward and try to find somewhere where the people can take shelter with survival.
You know, upon hearing that, Aymri's just going to stare blankly into the air. Thoughts of Aerie trying to help the people around her flooding through her mind. Okay.
Is anyone... Forgive me. Does anyone else in this group... Obviously, these people are looking to us for their protection and well-being. Does anyone here have knowledge of the wilderness other than myself?
I just got here.
I know a little bit about nature.
That is
Looks at the other
good.
woman.
That is good, but I'm speaking more of the survival in the nature type aspect.
Well, I'm somewhat good at it. Finding myself running a lot. I could help.
Clearly, you two are the most capable in this regard.
Out of character, we're going to die because I only have a +4 survival check.
I'm coming with.
And Drago will... All right, well, a lot of you go try to find some place to for us to settle down. And Lucky, you go searching down the path over that way there. Looks like it branches out, at least as far as I can see in this blasted storm. If y'all can't find anything, or you find a lot of trouble, come rendezvous back over here. You understand?
Of course. And then switching to Goblin. If I can find my way back here, which I'm pretty sure I can't, but
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
and then back to Common. Don't worry,
We're gonna try
we'll
to
definitely
save
make it back.
and we're gonna get lost. So we're gonna get separated from the refugees. That's just gonna be fun.
Teclan responds in Goblin. Don't worry, I will be able to find our way back here.
Then she's gonna realize you can speak Goblin, and she's gonna quietly curse again under her breath.
So you each are given torches to help guide your way through the blistering snow. Lucky goes off in one direction. The rest of the camp kind of slowly trods through the area here, just trying to keep things as safe as possible for the time being. Tibrus, you are trying to find your way using your knowledge of the land, the environment, your skills, to make this exploration go a bit easier, to find your way as best you can, looking for clues to the safer paths without meandering off into, let's say, some of the, off the side of a mountain or into a deep chasm where you would most certainly, break bones and possibly freeze to death, or at least others, if they were to so have that same fate.
Yes, this is highly unfortunate for all of us. Well, my new friends, a blizzard is not the best environment to find oneself in, yes?
No, but at least I know which way is north at all times.
So as you are leading this group through the mountains, through the snow, trying to find the various trails, it is quite difficult with, sleet and snow pelting you in the face, piling up more and more snow in front of you. You're trying to clear past the exposed rock to see, where things may have been worn, where things may have traveled through here when, there wasn't a blistering winter storm. You are able to get outside of the exposed blistering winds of the mountain trails, where the mountain is now blocking some of the winds, which does help. But you're in a part of the mountain where it's kind of cleaved a bit, and you're at the bottom of basically like this little valley in the mountain. There's various little rock formations that have bits of snow clinging to them, forming like this almost spongy like blobs of snow on them. Some of the base of it is very lightly covered, as composed to the few feet of snow that you've been having to trud through for the past hour or so. As you are making your way through here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it'll help, but periodically throw out no direction. I just know where north is.
Okay, well, it's not like you're lost or anything right now. It's you're still trying to fight your way through the elements and through this mountainous terrain. For the most part, has been difficult because of all the snow. But at least you know which way is north. Aymri, you're the only one that kind of picks up on this. Out of the rock formations in front of you, with all the winds that are kind of sweeping about, the snow that's still falling down, impeding some of the vision, you're able to pick up through a combination of not just through, sight, but mostly through like your hearing, that there's something moving in some of the rocks way up ahead. It was loud enough to, like kick a rock that kind of echoed, and you kind of pick up on that echo. But it's very unusual that the wind would knock a rock like that. Usually when the wind is strong enough, it'll, knock avalanches, things like that. This is like a fist-sized stone that just got kicked or knocked off a thin ledge.
Aymri is going to look over towards it, and she'd probably be ahead of the others up with I forgot the catfolk's name already. she'd be up with Tibrus, and she'd hold a hand out to at least signal the others to stop moving for a moment.
I drop my torch and pull out my shield and
My heat.
Well, then pick it up.
All right, you heard Lady Lotus. Go ahead. You grab it. I'll grab out my shield.
I guess I'll you want me to go check it out?
Well, you are the biggest and burliest out of all of us, so you might be able to take a hit.
I am indeed. I'll start trudging in the direction that Aymri pointed out.
Can I please stealth Dave to go there as well?
Same here.
I'm
Okay.
gonna take the defend exploration action.
This is like the perfect terrain for me, man. I like blend in with the environment very well. Just like a white tiger in Siberia. There you go.
And even with the stealth rolls, what is the marching order? We got Malphas going up first, and we have 2 people stealthed, and another using the defensive action. And we still need to know what Teclan's doing.
I guess he will also take the defensive action as well.
Lotus is gonna stay back. The defend action. Do you have a shield?
No, right. Don't worry.
Between Aymri and Tibrus, who would be further up ahead?
Aymri would let Tibrus be further up ahead.
Probably me.
Okay, so I have Malphas, Tibrus, Aymri, Rvana, Teclan, and then Lotus, in terms of distance and marching order. Malphas, as you're walking up around some of these rock formations, the sounds of your cloven feet, stepping on the frost and some of the thin ice patches, it's not enough to lose your footing, but, it makes little noises in the snow. There's another sound that almost drowns out your footsteps. Sounds of flesh being rendered and torn. The familiar sounds of the squelching of fluids that come with the rending. It is here that you see a splatter of blood come from behind one of the rocks.
I raise my shield and I'll start walking towards it.
As the rest of you see Malphas raise his shield and kind of cautiously walks around the rock formation to get a better view of the source of what he saw. Doesn't relate to you what he saw, he just is acting more cautiously now. Malphas, as you go around the little rocks there, you see this decayed body chewing on what looks to be some sort of goat, like the remains of a goat. Its white fur is now stained red with blood. It looks like it's chewing heavily on the side of it, where the source, that's not where the source of the blood that you saw came out from. That comes from what's next to that creature. Next to it is a much larger rotting creature that is holding the back rear flank of the goat. It looks like it just tore it completely out of the socket and is chewing on it. And that's with its left hand. In its right hand, it holds a battle axe.
I'll point in that direction.
So they seem to be, for the moment, occupied by the kill that they have there.
And they're both dead, right?
One is a kind of like a 5.5 foot humanoid. You're not quite sure of what race. That the flesh is very rotted. There's multiple stages of decay, and you can see like pus and pustules oozing from this creature. Its face is down, chewing into this goat carcass. Although the larger one is easily 10 feet tall, chewing on a goat haunch as it were a leg of little mutton there, and is just kind of lazily carrying a battle axe in its other hand, taking big bites out of this goat carcass.
All right, I'm going to cast the cantrip Ghost Sound. I'm going to make the sound be a bleed of a goat, and then the sound of moving through the snow.
That's great. It just ruined my idea, but that's cool.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. I was going to try to get around on their other side around the outcrop from where the orc is. But your sound just drew their attention that direction.
Well,
Correct.
it drew one of their attention. The larger one with the battle axe. See the head just kind of like whip around suddenly. You can see like a faint glow in the pupils, like this little orangish hue. It just dragging the axe a little bit, picks it up and puts it on its shoulder. You can hear it walk with these heavy footsteps, breaking the thin sheets of ice, shattering them with every step. This decayed creature, whatever this thing was once in life, was truly monstrous, barrel-chested. Its flesh is exposed. You can see spiky bits of frost and bits of rock and other debris just embedded into this thing's flesh, and it doesn't seem to bother it one bit, as the blood that's just been pulled down from its mouth and chest have already been kind of covered now with frost from the elements, as it starts just trudging towards where that sound was, looking about, not shambling, but actually just walking like and scanning, like looking about.
Have I ever told y'all in all the games we played how much I hate undead creatures?
Yep.
Okay.
Can I try to identify it?
Can I try to identify it too?
So I'd like both of you to, in your attempts to identify it, make a roll religion, each of you, please. All right, so Aymri, you're able to at least identify something on this creature. It is undead, probably some form of zombie by the looks of it, but that's not what gets to you on this. This particular type, just from it leaving the carcass as you watch it leave, it kind of confirms this for you. This thing is emitting some sort of unnatural necromantic aura that seems to be increasing the rate of which things rot.
Oh.
And these such types of energies, any kind of necromantic energy, never is good for living creatures. You don't have to be dead for such energies to impact you in ways you don't want it to.
She's going to, or who's closest to her?
That would be Tibrus.
She's going to turn towards them. We're leaving now. She's going to try and signal Malphas to come towards them as she starts backing away, going in the opposite direction of the undead.
Malphas frowns and tries to make eye contact with Rvana.
We can't let these creatures just roam around. What if they make it back to camp?
Malphas nods and starts walking towards the two creatures, shield raised.
We are our first level, right? Just making sure.
Yep.
Just making
Well, one of them was drawn off, but yeah.
So the closest one to you, Malphas, is the one that is the smaller one, which is still eating a goat.
All right. Well, it's about to be eating something else.
Right, so how does it work for initiative and stuff?
Well,
And,
glad you asked. So, since two of you are currently using stealth, I will let you roll an active roll for stealth for your initiative. This does not override your previous roll for being detected. This is just so that you have control over initiative stealth. Everyone else, though, will be perception.
I like that mechanic. That's pretty cool. My stealth is better than my perception, so that benefits me.
And there could be other things depending on the situation, but we'll go over those as those situations do arise. Yeah, none of us are paragons of the system. That's why we have as many different things for compendiums, be it custom and online tools and so forth, until we get the all the fundamental stuff rememorized coming off of 5th edition.
Yeah, that mechanic is totally different though, because initiative is based on skills, which is cool. I like it.
Malphas, you are unnoticed by this creature. That means you are undetected by this creature.
How close am I to it?
You are, considering the rock formation, about 15 feet from it, so you can go up, stride up to it and do something, or do something from where you stand if you have any range attacks, whatnot.
I'll use an action to walk up to it, and I'll take a swing at it with my battle axe. 19.
19 is definitely going to hit. And your battle axe is obviously slashing with that. As you strike Malphas with your battle axe, this thing is completely unaware. It is flat-footed to you with that. It is leaning down over it. It is exposed to your battle axe. In fact, the two things that you quickly discover this is, one, your battle axe is very effective against this creature. It's going to deal an additional 5 points of damage to this thing. However, you also discover something else as the axe hits it. Some of the disgusting pustules that this thing has on it get ruptured as the axe hits it. As this happens, the fluids come flying out. Luckily, none of them hit you. But they look very yellowish, almost with bits of hues of green. You don't want to know what kind of diseases and other nasty bits might be roaming around in some of the bodily fluids of this thing.
Okay. My last action, I'm going to raise my shield.
So, and the axe was very effective on it. It did open quite a big wound right across the back with it. You can see down to the bone, like the back of the ribs on this thing. You damaged it pretty heavily with that, but whatever energies are causing it to stay animated are still very potent and present. And with potent and present, I think that's a good transition onto Aymri.
How far away is it?
Considering Malphas when he started his turn was 15 feet, I'll say from where you're at, it would be 25 feet.
Well, I'll move. Actually, important question. Would I be able to move behind it with just one move action?
What's your move speed?
25.
You most certainly can.
Aymri will move on behind it to get that nice little bonus. Flip, or with her dagger, do a little bit of a flourish, and you know the most important thing, I start stabbing.
Go ahead and make your attack roll. You have no problems sticking your dagger into the back of this thing's exposed flesh here. It's almost like somebody put this thing on a platter for you. It is so incredibly easy to stab this thing. In fact, your dagger goes slashing through, and much like Malphas discovered, you discover that the cutting edge of this blade is very effective on this thing's decayed, weakened flesh. But you too also quick to discover the pustules are very easy to be ruptured. Thankfully, your dagger, as it cuts through some of them, they don't quite squirt on you, but the smell that they give off, it's almost like rotted cheese and spoiled like almond milk. It's very disgusting, and the viscosity of it is almost like milky syrup.
Disgusting. Well, because it is flat-footed, I get to show off the really cool thing about PF2E Rogue. I'm going to keep stabbing, but I also get my sneak attack. Does my second attack hit?
It most certainly does. This thing is not the fastest moving creature on here. And
I don't think that third one hits.
You wouldn't have a third one, you moved.
Oh, wait, you're right. That's my bad.
And yeah, because you remember you have anything with the attack action or the attack trait rather is going to impose the multiple attack penalty on it, even if it's like a trip or something. But Regardless, that second attack was enough that as the dagger went through, the muscles in the neck were probably the only thing holding this thing up. There's not, the bone underneath it wasn't too strong. And you're able to pretty much sever the remaining bits of tendons and muscle tissue that it's kind of keeping this thing up straight, and the head just kind of flops back in between the shoulder blades. It's looking back at you as you're facing its back, but it just kind of slumps down over the corpse of this mountain goat.
Rogan, this is so cool.
So I will maintain my hidden position for the return of the larger creature, so I won't give up that tactical advantage if possible. So can I delay until it gets over here or something like that? Is that a thing?
If you delay, you permanently move down. You can ready an action. I want to say that's 2 actions to do a 1 action.
No, actually, that's perfect. It doesn't cost anything, so I get to use my full turn at a later time.
You move in the initiative order.
Okay, I'll do that.
So you are delaying your action. Okay, so with Tibrus delaying his action, we're going to move on to Rvana.
How far out is the creature?
So the larger creature that went off to go investigate the sounds, from where you're at to where the fallen creature was that was eating the goat, is 35 feet. To where the other creature is from that is another 20 feet. So it's about 55 feet in total if you want to just beeline it straight to it. Or if you want to do it in segments, those are your segments.
So if I move up once, that puts it at 30. 30's close enough for me to do this. Yeah, channeling her magic, she's going to cause a vine to pop up right under that thing and attempt to wrap its leg.
So, resolving Rvana's Tanglefoot, that is a spell attack to hit. That will hit. That actually will be a critical success on that because it was a 26.
Yay, it is minus 10 move and immobilized for 1 round.
And immobilized, can't use any action with the move trait, and you're immobilized by something holding you in place. Can't use anything with the move trait.
Teclan, do you have anything to blast it?
I do indeed. He will. Okay, he will raise his hand, gesturing as glowing runes appear around his staff as he uses the reach spell meta magic. And then he's gonna cast, and then a glowing green glob sprouts from the tip of his staff and fires straight at the undead as he casts Acid Splash.
So you would need to move up a little bit, because remember, you were farther back in the marching order.
Unfortunate. Well, then, instead of that, he'll close with the group and ping Detect Magic to see if there's anything else nearby.
So you are detecting the presence of magic. The creature itself is emanating the magic that you're picking up in the immediate area.
Right. Well, seems like that's the only thing here. There's not anything else.
I'm going to take my turn at the end of Teclan's turn. Because if I read that right, if I don't do it, I'll just lose a turn entirely when it goes to the top of the order, right?
Yeah.
So I might as well do it. It would have been better if it was slightly different order of initiative, but oh well. I'll learn.
Yeah, what do you want to do?
So it's 40 feet away. I need to throw some darts.
Okay, as you stride 20 feet, you're with the others by the goat corpse and the eviscerated undead that was chewing on it.
Cool, and then I'll throw a dart at the undead thing and miss horribly. Because this version of Roll20 hates my guts.
It's good to get the hate out now, sooner than later.
And now I will step 5 feet further away from it.
Noted. So as you come striding up, you pull out a dart, throw it. The dart flies out, and it's not that it really misses it. It's more of the Arctic winds start to gust up and push it off course more than you anticipated. And it just kind of dink as it hits some of the frost-laden rock walls here. And then you kind of step a little further away. Little zombie's no longer there, but the big Mama Jamma is here. So it will try to attempt the escape on the spell. Fails. Not a critical failure, though, but it does fail to escape as it's taking that axe that it has and it's like trying to chop and swing at the things that are binding it and holding it down, and it's just not able to get free of it at the moment. If it rolled 2 more points higher, it could have done it.
Good job on the immobilization there, dude.
Unable to break it, it's still immobilized for the time being, and that will be its turn. You just hear, and every time it swings, like more vines keep trying to like wrap up and wrap around its limbs, as it's just furiously swinging.
I'll use a move action to head over to it, and I'll start swinging with my battle axe. 18.
Okay, so 18 will hit. As you get close to this thing, like about 10 feet from it, you start to feel this wave wash over you that some of your old battle scars almost seem to itch. It's almost like getting scurvy where they just want to like reopen up as you're just in this thing's presence. But your attack does ring true as your battle axe comes down on this thing. 18 is more than enough to hit it, but not enough to crit it. So what's your damage?
9.
Okay, and much like the other one, the slashing seems to be more effective, and you're going to deal 10 extra points of damage to this thing for 19 points of damage. But even with that strong swing there, it almost looks like, just from the mass of this creature, like that is just a minor wound to this thing.
I'm going to try and swing again.
You will have the -5 penalty.
Not one. My turn's over.
So you go to swing again, and it just kind of... It's still furiously swinging to cut these vines with its own battle axe, and you're trying to dodge those wild swings while trying to hit this thing. In doing so, it causes your attack to just whiff because you just weren't able to get the footing to close enough to strike this thing again. So it's not a fault of your own. You're just trying to save your own neck while trying to take off its.
All right. How far away am I from this thing?
You are 20 feet from it. You're with the others that are by the zombie, the one that you cut to ribbons with your blade.
As much as I don't want to, I'll use 2 move actions so that I can flank it.
And you are on the opposite side of it, in flanking position. So you and Malphas are considered now flanking this creature.
And then with a flourish of my dagger, stab.
25. While it wasn't a natural 20, it is high enough to be considered a critical success as you slide up one higher in the scale as you hit 10 over its armor class. So you'll be doing double that damage, that 5 there.
Would that also double my sneak attack damage?
It is doubled.
Hell yeah!
So though I know like persistent damage is never doubled with that, as well as any bonus damage that is triggered from a critical hit or added due to a critical hit. Those are very specific examples that are never done with that.
Like a flaming weapon that has critical burst or whatever.
Fatal, deadly, yeah, stuff like that.
All right.
Crit and persistent don't, but everything else, that's doubled. Which can get scary on certain things.
I love this system.
Well, you also feel that same like aura kind of waving over you. Old wounds almost feel like they want to just reopen up again. Long scars that you've had since you were itty bitty just want to reopen. They don't reopen. They feel like they want to at like any moment just by being in the vicinity of this creature. However, not only was that a critical success for the attack, where you have all the wonderful double damage with that, but you also discover that this creature does seem to be a little more vulnerable to your the slashing of your dagger, as it takes an additional 10 points on top of the critical damage that you've dealt to it. Well, good news, Aymri, as that attack seemed to be very effective on this beast, as it's being slowed down by the vines and vegetation that's forced its way through the cracks to kind of whip around this thing and try to hinder its movement. You take full advantage of this and just slash right across the central muscle groups of the back. You, from your past endeavors, know the importance of some of these muscle groups and how devastating it can be to just have them suddenly sliced. Have at it. And even with this thing in Undeath, that seems to do wonders, as you can see some of its limbs just kind of relax a little bit for a moment. The body just kind of slouches a bit. It's still standing. It's still very dangerous, but you can see it in its posture. It's just kind of hunched over, still towering over Malphas, but it's not as predominantly strong and alpha as it once was.
I feel so satisfied. Oh my god.
And before we move on to Rvana, I do want to remind everybody that you all do have one hero point that you can use as a fortune effect to better your rolls. You can also use cash in all of your hero points to help stave off death, because we all know how fun death is and nobody likes death. But there is one teeny tiny little thing that I do need to remind everybody about, is that thanks to Rvana, she has granted the GM a ruin point because of one of her traits, which works kind of like a hero point that can be used in an enemy's favor or to apply misfortune on an important roll made by a character. I'm not using that here, but just as a reminder, you have power, and so do they.
Why'd you give him ruin? I hate you. Anyway, let's continue on.
I want to make sure everybody remembers that they have hero points, you know.
Are hero points refreshed at the beginning of each session?
You lose them all at the end of the session, but you gain one to start. And depending on things that you do in the game, you can earn other hero points. And I'm going to do an example of that here by awarding Aymri one additional hero point.
Good stuff.
So,
Hell yeah.
So congratulations, Aymri. You have hero points and an additional one, so you have 2 now. Max 3. We move on to Rvana. What do you do, Rvana?
I'll use an action to whistle Lotus. Lotus will use both actions to move up to me. And then I'm going to charge up some electricity in my fingers and shoot it out towards the creature. Because I realize I didn't prep any... This is the only attack spell I prepped. DC 17 Reflex.
Nice. Let's see how this thing fares. Failed, but not critical fail.
7 electricity damage.
As Rvana's hands go out, the arc leaps from her fingertips, flies over Malphas, and just connects to this large creature's head. The arc just making this loud popping and zapping sound as some of the rotted flesh starts to smell like very badly burnt bacon. This thing doesn't have pustules on it, so you're not being covered in anything, Malphas, as the flesh sizzles and pops. But you can see the rotting pinkish tissues underneath just get exposed. You can see maggots and things just kind of pour out of some of the popped flesh here from the muscle tissue. Teclan.
All right, he will raise his staff and draw intricate symbols in the air 3 times, and at each one a small glowing orb of energy appears as he casts Magic Missile with 3 actions, so it's 3 missiles.
Nice. So yeah, the bolts, as they appear in the air, as you conjure them forth out of the aether using secret magical arts that you yourself are refocusing on again. They fly out to this creature like heat-seeking missiles in quick succession. It kind of staggers a little bit as the energies kind of rack and explode more of the flesh on it. You can see as you hit this thing, the magic that you were detecting from this thing is not from this creature itself, but rather the axe that it's holding in its hand. You can clearly see runes etched on the axe as its arm just kind of swings out a little bit from being reeled back from this barrage. It's still standing, but barely.
All right. Well, the axe appears to be magical.
I don't know if I would touch an axe that did that to somebody.
So now that the cat is out of the bag, so as it were, and I wasted last turn because I didn't know what I was doing. I will stride 25 feet to close with the creature. As action 1. Action 2, I will tiger stance. Action 3, I will flurry of blows and swipe at it.
And the first attack will be normal.
15. Does a 15 hit it?
We'll just hit it.
Okay, cool. 6 slashing damage.
And go ahead. You have a second attack that goes with that same action. You will have the -4 penalty because it's still...
And it's horribly.
It's okay because that first attack with the bonus damage that you receive because it's slashing is enough to take it down. Would you like to be the first to tell us what happens next?
No, because I feel lame. I capitalized on its already superior weakened state.
Maul its face off.
Okay, fine. I'll the first swipe rends half of its face off. There you go. And then it falls to the ground. And then the second swipe catches midair because it missed horribly.
The other swipe is ew.
Grody.
Slash half its face off, the jaw just kind of separating. The body of it just kind of drops to its knees. Your follow-up attack hits the air because the body just wasn't there where you were expecting. You weren't expecting it to fall so quickly. But nevertheless, it did. The Titan-like vice grip that it had on that axe just releases. You hear the echoing clang as the battle axe hits the frost-laden stone cavernous walls here in this mountain pass. Just cling, 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 and the winds still kind of pick up and howl every now and then, but outside of that, it's deadly.